Well, Nigel, good morning. Much to comment upon since we last spoke. Let's go through the activity in order of chronology, if we may. Let's start with the loan signing of Stephen Quinn from Burton Albion, your previous club. What will he offer you?
Experience in the midfield area, I think, which is very important. We've got generally a young midfield, apart from Ollie Clark, who's been out injured. You look at George Lapsley, George Maris, Harry Charsley. They're all sort of youngish. So we needed some experience in there. Some tenacity never goes amiss. I think his experience, his competitiveness, will be an asset to us in the second half of the season.
One midfielder therefore coming in, one going out, Alistair Smith, a permanent transfer to Altrincham.
Yeah, I think it's great for him. He went there on loan a few months ago. He's been playing week in, week out. It would be very difficult for him to break into our first team, I think, with the strength of the midfield players we have. So I think it's a great opportunity for him, to play in the conference and maybe hopefully get back in the league from there.
Is your midfield now settled, Nigel? Do you have the players in the positions in which you want?
Yeah, I think we're okay in that area now. I think even you look at the flexibility with sort of Harry coming at Oldham, coming back inside and giving you an extra body in there. So we sort of have him. We have George Maris, George Lapsley, Stephen Quinn now. Stephen McLaughlin can play in there as well. So I think it's an area centrally where we're okay now.
Roland Menese, the defender, was sent on loan to Grimsby until the end of the campaign. He actually had his best game under you at Cambridge United. His only game, I think, under yourself. Can he consider himself somewhat unfortunate, therefore, to go out?
I think so. I think there's a couple of lads in the same bracket. He hasn't been sent to Greece. So we've sent him packing. He has to go on loan.
Poor turn of phrase.
Yes, yeah, he has to go on loan because obviously he wasn't starting regularly, and he was a bit unlucky. He did very well at Cambridge when he came in, but we've been very pleased with the pairing of Faz and Ryan Sweeney, and also James Perch, when he stepped in, has done very well. So he's gone down the pecking order a little bit. He said, can I go out and get some games? And I think that's brilliant when a player wants to do that and go out and play. And so he's gone with our blessing, and hopefully he'll get 20 odd games between now and the end of the season. And then we'll take it from there.
And great news yesterday, George Lapsley signing a 2.5-year deal from Charlton Athletic.
Yeah, I think brilliant signing for the club. Hasn't been straightforward, and I know that David Sharp's had to work very hard, both with Charlton and with the agent, to get it over the line. And we're delighted that we've secured him for the next 2.5 seasons. I think he's shown in the last 3 months, and all the Stags fans will have seen, a goal-scoring midfielder with potential to improve. There's not many of those around, and I think he fits in very well with the work ethic and the sort of player we're trying to bring in.
So a busy week of transfers. Where are we elsewhere with potential incomings and outgoings?
Yeah, we hope to do a little bit more in the last 10 days of the window. In an ideal world, a couple more in and 2 or 3 going out. We don't like running big squads, especially halfway through the season. Everybody's just about fit. 23 league games to go. We can't anticipate injuries, and we can't anticipate if you have an outbreak of COVID and then all of a sudden you miss 4 or 5 players. But I think carrying a sort of a squad of 20 people or something like that, with maybe a couple of youngsters on the fringes just to bolster it in case we need them, will be enough.
Let's continue to talk about players. What's the latest from the Physio's room?
Just Ollie Clark, really. James Perch is back in training after his illness. Ollie Clark still feeling the effects of that whack on his knee. He hasn't joined in training yet, but we're hoping Friday he may do that, and then we'll assess his chances for Saturday.
And Tyree Sinclair will now have completed his isolation period. Is he now back in the fold?
He is, yes, but he hasn't started training yet. It's going to be a slow sort of progress with him. He had a run after his first day after his isolation finished, and he didn't feel too good. And we all sort of know about the effects of COVID, and although he was asymptomatic, everybody recovers differently. So we're going to take it very easy with him and be very cautious, especially with him being a young player, and he'll build up slowly coming back into training.
And you've had a bit of a break, haven't you, since the last competitive fixture? Yep. Has it allowed you to do other things on the training ground with that gap that perhaps you might not have done?
Not especially, because you can see behind. Last week we had snow, didn't we? Was it on the Friday or the Wednesday, wasn't it? We had 3 or 4 inches of snow in the background. Now we've got the storm. They're not ideal training conditions, I have to say, for standing around and things. But I think we've done enough, and the players had a rest over the weekend and have come back in rested and ready to work again.
Southend United away on Saturday. Stags only played them a month ago. What can be gauged from that fixture heading into Saturday's contest?
Well, from our point of view, first of all, we wasted 45 minutes of the game in the first half and didn't get going. We can't afford to do that, certainly away from home on Saturday. And also, I think we saw Southend come and knock it about in the first half against us. We've also seen them 2 or 3 times, certainly the last 2 games, and they've played differently. Against Cambridge, they went quite direct in the first half and caused them problems. They scrapped for a point at Grimsby on Saturday. So I think they're one of those teams that you're not quite sure what you're going to face.
They are, whatever you say about them, a team of battlers. They proved that at the One Call Stadium 4 weeks ago.
They did. Having played well in the first half, they got that 1-goal lead, and then they scrapped and battled to hang on to it. And it was only, I think, a great finish from Jordan Barry, which got us an equaliser late-ish in the game, that got us a point. So I think when you look at the squad on paper, another team, they've got some very good, experienced players. But I think we're finding all throughout the league, there's no easy games, and for different reasons, they're all as difficult as each other. Whether you go at the top 3 or the bottom 3, they're difficult games.
This game won't define Stag's season, of course, but could it act as a signpost as to where Mansfield are going? If you beat Southend, you edge closer to the top 7. If they beat you, they could drag you back down there.
That's it, and that's how close the league is. You know, we've had a great run of the 4 league wins on the spin, but we're all too aware that a couple of defeats, we've got a tough week coming up, a couple of defeats in those games, and all of a sudden you'll find yourself looking at the bottom few again, and we want to avoid that. So that's the incentive for the players. Let's start looking up as much as we can. Let's keep this run going, and see where it takes us.
Thanks, Nigel. See you in Essex.
Thank you.